poppin', everybody? Welcome to SOKENT. Click that subscribe button, thumbs up the video. Make sure y'all leave a comment. Make sure y'all click that bell for notifications. So I wanted to speak on some shit today. You know what I'm saying? The main topic of this video is gonna be talking about hip hop. You know what I'm saying, and rap. And so I was on DJ Academics' Instagram page, right? And I seen a video of French Montana and Swae Lee in the studio, and we all know that French Montana and Swae Lee do have a hit song together. What's that song called? Unforgettable. So we know Unforgettable was probably, if not the biggest, it was most definitely one of the biggest songs of 2017. Swae Lee is the reason for that. Swae Lee's hook on that song, Unforgettable, is most definitely the reason why the song did so well. The production is amazing, the beat is amazing, but let's be honest, right? French Montana literally could have not been on that song and it still would have been a hit. They could have put anybody on that song to do what French Montana did and it would have been a hit. Anybody. If Lil Yachty was on that song, it would have been a hit. And if you guys aren't understanding where I'm going with this, I'm basically talking about how French Montana cannot make hit songs by himself. I've noticed something about French Montana. Every time you hear a French Montana song on the radio, there's somebody else on the song with him. You never really hear a song with French Montana by himself that's always on the radio. Like, let's really go down the history of French Montana's music career, right? Now, the first song that people heard from him was Pop That. And who's on that song? Drake, Rick Ross, Lil Wayne. 3 big names plus French Montana, right? That's a hit song, right? Let's look at another song that French Montana has done. Let's do Lockjaw. You guys remember that song Lockjaw with Kodak Black? Remember when Kodak Black really started becoming like a mainstream artist? That's when French Montana put him on the Lockjaw song. That's another song, right? Let's keep going. You know what I'm saying? What's another French Montana song where he has other people on the shit? Stay Scheming. Who's on Stay Scheming? Stay scheming. Niggas trying to get at me. Drake is on that song. So I noticed something about this guy, French Montana, man. He uses other artists with big names to keep himself relevant. Because French Montana, as a solo artist, struggles. Before his song with Swae Lee, before Unforgettable, French Montana was having issues with putting his albums out because the label that he signed to did not believe that he had enough steam to be dropping albums. And when you're signed to a major label, these major labels expect you to sell a certain amount of albums. And if you're not going to sell a lot of albums, they at least expect you to sell a lot of singles, because these major companies give these artists millions of dollars, right? But they're expecting to make that money back. So if you get a $2 million contract and your album is only selling 10,000 copies, 20,000 copies, and on top of that, you're putting out these singles, the label's putting money behind you, and your single is not charting well, what happens is you get shelved. And you have to keep on putting out singles, and it'll get to the point where if the label realizes that you're putting out singles too much and none of the singles are doing well, now the label's looking at you like a liability. And we've seen this happen time after time after time. I can name a handful of artists where this has happened to. Look at a guy like Waka Flocka. When is the last time you really heard a song from Waka Flocka on the radio? When is the last time you've heard Waka Flocka put an album out? He can't. You know why? Because his buzz has died down. He's had a hard time putting out hit songs. So this guy hasn't put out an album since 2011 or something like that. Another artist like Soulja Boy. Now, Soulja Boy's situation is different. Soulja Boy knows how to make hit songs. But an artist like Soulja Boy, unfortunately, he came out before his time. And when Soulja Boy was on top of the game, he was in that era where record sales meant everything. This is before streaming came out. So when he dropped his last album on a major label, which is called the DeAndre Way, that album ended up selling 13,000 copies. So and let me make this clear. That album had hit songs on there. Pretty Boy Swag was the #1 song. But because the album did so bad, his major label looked at him like he was a liability, and he ended up leaving the label. Let me think of another artist before I move forward. Who's another artist that got shelved? Wale. The same thing has happened to Wale. Wale is an amazing artist. Wale actually makes great albums. Wale actually makes amazing albums. Wale is like the true definition of what a hip-hop artist is. But unfortunately, we are living in a time where those type of artists are not getting pushed by the labels like they used to be. And Wale's last album did not sell well. So because of that, the record label he was signed to, which is Atlantic, looked at him like a liability, and he got dropped because they said, listen, we're not making our money back with you on our label. We got to get rid of you. And he's not the only one from Rick Ross's MMG label that got dropped. There's a number of other artists like Rocky Fresh, Stally. All of these artists got dropped from the label because Atlantic Records did not believe in them. You got to remember, these artists were originally on Warner, but Warner ended up doing some type of deal with Atlantic or some shit like that. But back to the main topic of the video with French Montana. French Montana, he does not make good albums. And his albums literally live off of the hit singles. How many songs have we seen French Montana do with Drake? Like, let's be honest, right? Remember that song where Drake was dissing Joe Budden on the and he has a song out right now called what's it called? No Stylist with Drake. There's a song with French Montana that's out right now called No Stylist with Drake. This man has about 5 songs with Drake. It's like, wow, like French Montana really lives off of other artists' name. When's the last time you guys heard? Okay, so there's a song that I just thought of that French Montana has where it's just him by himself, and it's a song called Famous, right? I'm pretty sure nobody's heard it. That song is, it's not a hit song. And the reason why is because it's only French Montana on there. There's a reason why French Montana keeps doing songs with these big name artists, because he's going to do another song with Swae Lee. And I'll make sure I'll put the clip in this video so you guys can see it. French Montana's a liability, man. He makes terrible albums. All of his hit songs are only great because of other artists, and his rap skills are fucking horrible. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I'm sitting back watching the rap game, and it's just a lot of trash out here. It's a lot of trash out here. I think it's too many talented artists that really make good music that's not getting a lot of push, that's not getting a lot of attention, that's not able to really put themselves out there because we're living in a time where trash is praised. You know what I'm saying? And I really just wanted to make this video to let people know, man, like, we got to stop supporting bullshit. When you see somebody like French Montana is constantly making the same song over and over and over and over again with the same artist, we got to stop supporting people like that. We got to get them the fuck out of here. You feel me? We got to get people like this the fuck out of here. Because they keep feeding the world garbage and people keep eating it up. How many songs does French Montana have to do with Drake before people say, you know what, this is getting old? How many songs does French Montana have to do with Rick Ross or Lil Wayne before we say, okay, I'm getting tired of this shit? How many songs does French Montana have to do with Swae Lee before we say, yo, didn't you just drop a hit song last year with Swae Lee? How come you're not doing any of these big songs by yourself? And you know what's weird? French Montana's mixtapes are actually, they're really good. French Montana has mixtapes where there's songs by himself that's really good. But because he's having issues with every label he's with, he's in this box where he can no longer really show his creativity as an artist unless he's putting out a mixtape. Because if he puts it out as an album, the label is not going to support it. It's not going to do good. So French Montana's in a position where he literally can't even do what he wants to do because he'll get shelved. You feel me? And it's sad because a lot of artists are in this position where they have to do things like this because this is how they support themselves. So I'm not all the way mad with French Montana, but I just think it's getting old. You know, like this is like it's ridiculous. You keep making the same song with the same niggas. Like, god damn. And with that being said, man, I just wanted to share that with y'all. Leave a comment. All my hip hop heads out there, let me know if y'all agree with me. Am I tripping? Like, am I going too hard on this nigga? Like, pause. But let me know because, like, I see a lot of people talking about this in DJ Academics' comments, and I thought I was the only one that noticed this shit. 50 Cent even said this a while back. French Montana only makes hit songs when somebody else is on there. And with that being said, I'm out. Skirt, skirt.